Welcome in, guys, to Populist Politics with Bobby Funk. This is our third show ever, so I'm going to need you to smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I think this is going to be one of the best shows we've had so far, being the third one. It's going to be entertaining. We're going to kind of lay out how I got into politics. And then we're going to have a special guest today who has really helped me get into politics, and we're getting the ball rolling, helping candidates in the form of a political action committee. And I'm a person that doesn't want to be into politics just to be a talking head, but I want to be a man of action. And I'm going to explain my background, and then we're going to have a discussion about our PAC with Carson. And then we are going to talk about politics. We're just going to talk shop. So I'm very excited for you guys to meet him, and we're going to have a very entertaining show today. A little introduction about how I got into politics. When I've been growing up, I grew up in a Catholic household, and that's definitely orchestrated my values. It gave me a sense of direction, and I've been a very family-oriented person. That's why I was drawn to the Republican Party and the right in the political spectrum. I believe that the government should mainly get out of your way, and that big government is definitely a bad thing on citizens. I am from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised, still here. So Chicago and Illinois politics are definitely something that I'm going to be expressing on this show, because I have learned that national politics really gets everybody going. It's a very hot topic, and everybody wants to talk about national politics. But what really affects your life is those state and those local governments that really benefit or negatively affect your life. So we need to talk about Illinois and Chicago politics. If you know anything about Illinois and Chicago politics, it's very, very left. And it's been a struggle being on the right wing, being here in Chicago and in broader Illinois, especially the last 5 or 6 years with our very annoying governor, J.B. Pritzker. And in Chicago, we had Lori Lightfoot as the mayor. Then we have Brandon Johnson, who's arguably probably a little worse than Lightfoot. And I thought that was impossible. So growing up in high school, I was very engaged in history. I am still a history buff. I love American history, Europe history, the wars, the Roman history and early Europe history, to the American Revolution, and so on to World War I, World War II, and the current day affairs. So I'm very well knowledgeable on history, and I learned that politics and history go hand to hand. And that's how I kind of was introduced to politics and all the ideas behind politics. And they both go hand in hand, which is great because those are my two loves. I went to Governor State University, studied political science, and that was very liberal too. Our professors were about indoctrination and not really about thinking critically for yourself. It was orange man bad, Democrats good. It was everybody can be who they want to be. Girls can be boys and boys can be girls. And it was frustrating because you can't really say anything, because then they might view you in a bad light, and then they're going to reflect that poorly in your grades, which is sad. And I think one of the people that really drove me to learn about the indoctrination of colleges and high schools was Charlie Kirk. And unfortunately, he was shot and killed in September. And he really was kind of my awakening to the issue of colleges being very left and trying to pour liberal ideologies down our throats and not actually teach us about the issues and how to think about it in an unbiased way. I had to learn that on my own and learn how to express myself in that way. So then I have been trying to get more involved in politics in Illinois and Chicago. So I was going to campaign events, and I went to this congressional campaign fundraising event for Christian Maxwell. She's running for Illinois District 1 for the United States Congress. And I met Carson Turner, who has become one of my good friends lately. He was telling me about his political action committee that he's starting and how he wants to get more involved in politics. So we connected, we talked about politics. One of the first things we kind of bonded over was the Republican Civil War going on. We bonded over that, and he was telling me about an event he was doing a month later in December. And I've become an integral part of his PAC, and we're planning 2 big events. So with that being said, that's kind of an introduction of myself and me in politics and of Carson, and we're going to have him on right now. I would like to introduce my good friend Carson Turner. He's the founder and chairman of STARSPAC, and we're going to talk about my involvement in his PAC, and we're going to shoot the shop about everything we're doing with this political action committee. So here's Carson Turner, and I'm just going to invite him to introduce the PAC and why he started it.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Bobby. I appreciate it. Yeah, pretty much Stars Pack. It was founded, stands for Stars of Sovereignty. We want to promote sovereignty. We feel a lot of the times our politicians aren't necessarily doing what's in the interest of the actual voters, the actual citizens. So, that was kind of the original thought around it. Started the pack in September of 25. Really just looking for a way to get involved. I was really pushed into politics around the 2024 presidential election, in the months leading up to that as well. It, kind of made me really want to get active and be involved in politics. So, I started working with some candidates a little bit, and then just decided to start my own thing. So that's kind of the backstory on how we started. What Stars Pack is really we focus on promoting legislation or candidates for really that represent our core values, which would be obviously Christianity is a driving part of all of this. So we want Christian leaders, strong Christian leaders, and Christian legislation that follows the word. And then traditionalism, just the traditional way of life. We're getting, anti-woke basically is what that means. And then nationalism as well. We believe in putting the American people first, not foreign countries. We believe some of our leaders, like I mentioned before, don't do what's best for us, and sometimes they do what's best for other countries. So that's where the nationalism comes in. And it's also patriotic. It's important. Nationalism gets a very bad rap because they put words in front of it or behind it, and call people names with nationalists in it. But actually being a nationalist is just you're putting your nation first. You're putting your people's nation first. You're the people of the nation first. So um, that's really what we want to do, and especially when it comes to like for an example, uh, taxpayer provided health care for illegal aliens. That is not that is not American first. You're not putting American citizens first by doing that. We still have to pay. We're American citizens that pay taxes, and we still have to pay for health care, but someone can just walk into our house, and now we have to pay for their stuff. So that's an example of a nationalist view. So those are the three values really we want to promote candidates um, that have those values instilled in them, and send them to Congress, send them to the governor mansion, whatever it is, whatever it may be, um, and you know help campaign on legislation as well. If there's legislation pieces that we want passed, or some of our candidates are trying to get passed, definitely campaigning around that legislation. So tons of cool stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much
exactly.
it.
I actually, in our last episode, which I haven't released yet, but I was talking about those three core values and how nationalism gets that bad rep from that World War II era, and how traditionalism and Christian Catholic views are definitely what drives my politics and your politics. And we know this pack is going to be a strong force in the Republican Party, and we're going to help candidates get to office so we can actually change things and be a better country and state. I talked a lot about in the intro here about how Illinois and Chicago politics are also really important. I outlined that many people actually view like national politics as like everybody wants to know about who's going to be president, but actually what drives your everyday life is going to be Illinois and Chicago politics, state and local.
Yeah, state government. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, anything else you want to share about uh, our events that's coming up? I know we have.
Yeah, we can talk about some events, and we can talk about the social club if you're cool with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we started STARSPAC Social. Really, um, really, it's kind of like a spinoff from like some of the Young Republican stuff and Turning Point USA chapter stuff. Just we're being a little bit different though. We're able to do a lot of things that they're not, just because we're a little bit different of an organization. We're an actual political action committee, so that's one main difference. But right here, what I have pretty much written down for explaining what this is: StarSpec Social is where Illinois' next generation of leaders come together, not just to talk about politics, but to live it. We are building a community of young, politically active men and women across Illinois who are ready to take action, build friendships, and shape the future of our state. This isn't just another political group. It's a social movement rooted in faith, service, leadership, and real friendships. So some of a list of some of the stuff that we would do, kind of do together is we'd set up a day where we could attend church together, go to, I know, I'm not Catholic, I'm Christian, but not Catholic, and Bobby is Catholic. So one day sorry, I got a phone call there.
Yeah,
Uh,
it notified me.
okay. Um, yeah. So we, go to Catholic church with some people, everyone that's involved. So yeah, setting up a day to go to church together, or like even doing just a Bible study one day, getting a group of people together to do a Bible study, that would be nice. So that is stuff that we're actively working on doing. Volunteer in communities and serve those in need, especially in my area of Illinois. We just got hit pretty hard with some severe weather,
Yeah, that was bad.
tornadoes and hail in my car was totaled from the hail, and but I got off lucky. There's a lot of people whose houses were destroyed, so look, thankfully I'm okay. But yeah, community service. I know a lot of people um, that are getting those opportunities set up for people like myself to actually go and help. So that's pretty nice. Just getting to serve the community, people in need, especially, since it's close to home for me. So support conservative candidates and assist on campaigns. That's going to be a big one. Um, as a group of young people, we really want to inspire the younger generation and bring the young vote to the Republican ticket. Not every Republican is somebody we support. Just because you have an R next to your name does not mean we support you. Um, but supporting specific conservative candidates for sure is really important. Get the young people involved. Get the young vote to come out for those candidates and stuff, and provide real value and experience. This is all stuff that's building experience for people that maybe want to run for office one day. So host watch parties for elections, debates, and major political moments. Network with like-minded young professionals. I have a business background, so I know a lot of young entrepreneurs. So even just how powerful networking is, bringing in a business side into this as well as politics is something that's definitely beneficial. And then traveling to political events and conferences across Illinois together, just getting involved together like that. So those are some of the things that we'll be doing. It's a $50 a year membership, so really inexpensive. It's just something that we're all working together on. We've already had quite a few people sign up. A lot of people that are involved in other organizations too that want to do more. Sometimes there's these other organizations like Young Republicans or Turning Point chapters, but obviously they're not doing something every day. And some people want to do stuff here and there to help out in between. So it's definitely something worth checking out. As far as events, you wanted to talk about events. There's a few. We're actually setting up our first STARSPAC social event. Should be coming within the next month and a half, ideally. And it's actually going to be a networking event with the young entrepreneurs, young people that are politically active. We'll do headshots. Professional photographer for headshots. We're gonna have some light catering and stuff, and there will be drinks available, and then we're gonna actually host a debate. Um, don't want to give out all the details on that yet, just in case not everything's confirmed 100% yet. But we're actually going to have a debate. I will probably be debating someone, so it'll be something that people get to show up and listen to a debate and learn from that conversation, and actually grow as people. We're growing actively as we're debating. We're getting better at debating, and this is to build. The StarSpec Social Club is to build your skills too, if you're someone that wants to be elected one day. So yeah, so that's pretty important. So we'll have a debate, and we'll give opportunities for our members to debate each other on specific topics and stuff. So that's definitely something that everyone can get better at. And then our main events, we are going to Florida. I don't know how much you mentioned this in your first episode, but
Didn't mention it at all. So
yeah, we're gonna go Florida in May, and we're gonna be working with James Fishback, a candidate for governor on the Republican side. He's running in the primary against a handful of people, most notably Byron Donalds, congressman. So it'll be pretty interesting. We really like Fishback and what he's done, what he's campaigned on. Really, what he's campaigned on is putting the people of Florida first. That's really what it is. And then as opposed to other people running, saying, oh, you don't like that Zoran Mamdani was elected in New York, come to Florida, come to Florida. No, that's not what people in Florida want. People in Florida do not want New York City Democrat voters to come into Florida, fleeing a state that they elected the people that messed it up, coming to Florida where the Republicans, this was a swing state, and the Republicans have taken over and done such a successful job. So, um, in the state government, they've done such a successful job. So it's they want to put the people of Florida first. You add more people into the state, the homes become more unaffordable because you have more demand and less supply. It's really that's not good. Wanting Byron wanted to make it the financial capital of the world. Bring in AI data centers and take out these these fields that have been there for generations to put up an AI data center that's going to employ 5 or 6 security guards. So um, yeah, just putting the actual people first. Those are the values that we have. So we're gonna run down to Florida and we're gonna support him. We're gonna host an event, um, Tampa, St. Petersburg area. Um, we're still confirming details on the actual venue. Um, I should know more about that tomorrow, actually, but we want to do something related to cigars and stuff. Because that's the cigar capital, Tampa, St. Pete. So we'll do some cigars down there with him and film some content. Probably do some a little bit of an interview, and then we're just gonna have, he pretty much brings a crowd. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be
he's
pretty
definitely
crazy.
the the populist candidate.
Yes, the people you've never seen people come out to go to these types of events for what they're doing for him, man. It's crazy. He's gotten people that even don't even care about politics wanting to come out just to meet him, and because they're amazed by what he's saying.
Because
They're
he was
amazed.
pulling,
No, but nobody trusts politicians, and they're amazed at what he's saying. They're like, nobody's ever said that, and they agree with it. So, what were you saying?
and he was pulling at like 5%, and now he's in the 20s, or I think it might be the 30s now.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So it's
he's definitely climbing. It is, I mentioned Zohran Mamdani earlier, New York City mayor. He he was polling super low until they had a debate, and then in the debate he mentioned, he said something, about whatever, and he skyrocketed in the polls because people were like, "Hey, he's different. He's saying something that everyone else isn't saying." You know what I mean? And then when the fake news tries to attack him on it, he doubles down, and that's a lot. That's what James Fishback has been able to do in Florida.
aren't they? They're debating pretty soon, aren't they?
I think they are. I can't remember. I think it's going to be in like Clearwater. I could be wrong. I don't know where it's going to be, but
That's gonna be exciting.
yeah, that'll be cool. I can't wait to see that. It'll be awesome to see. And then our other big event, this one we're hoping goes as well as the Florida one, but we won't have a fishback type candidate to help with the crowd. So we're going to host a post Republican primary event here in Illinois. We're going to get the governor candidate on the Republican side to come out. Um, I've been able to meet almost every single one of them. I did not meet. I have not met Sheriff Mendrick. I've seen him in person, but I have not met him before personally, one on one. So, but yeah, we're gonna have the governor candidate come out. We're gonna have some congressional candidates come out. Um, I know Bobby mentioned how we met at a fundraiser for Kirsten Maxwell. That was pretty cool. She's an amazing candidate. So I believe I think she gave me confirmation that she will be there. Um, so that's super cool. We'll try to get some Senate candidates, and then probably General Assembly candidates as well, to help flip some seats in the state legislature.
All very good stuff.
Yeah, we're you know, action is our I write right here on our website. Action is the foundation of STARSPAC.
Yeah,
We just
I
we're
told them
just
in the introduction, I was like, I'm starting this podcast, but I don't want to be just a talking head. We want to actually like put our words into action and drive change in our state and our country.
yeah, and that's what we're doing with this pack. That's kind of why we set it up because it's great to have people doing podcasts and political talk shows and stuff. But it is great because that's where a lot of people can learn, grow. They can view both sides of an argument, whatever. Um, but for the people that are interested in politics, you should really get out there and do stuff. So that's what the thing with Bobby is he's been out here doing stuff and then he started his podcast. So um, and he's going to continue to do stuff outside of it as well. But so yeah, really, just if you're interested in politics, you should go be politically active. I'll tell you, I was pretty scared at first when I reached out to a candidate. I'm like, are they going to even answer me or? and so you just reach out and
It's almost like talking
they
to a celebrity. Like you're like,
yeah, you feel like you're talking to a celebrity because you follow them on Twitter and watch their videos, and they're just they're regular people. And they'd be happy to have your help. Not every candidate is super well funded, um, so a lot of those candidates could use volunteers, and they'd be happy to have you. So if you see someone you like online, definitely sign up to volunteer, and they would appreciate it, and you definitely get to meet them.
yeah, I'll definitely be trying to introduce candidates that I like for them to follow, and hopefully they get involved too.
Yeah, yeah. Did you talk about how you're involved with StarsPac?
Yeah, a little bit. I said I met you at your first event, or we met at the Christian Maxwell event, but I helped you out with the first event and how I'm getting to be a main staple in the pack.
But yeah, you're definitely a main staple in the pack. We definitely couldn't do this without you. So, I just cut when I talk about the pack, and I mention you, I just call you a co-founder. I'm just like, yeah, he's a co-founder. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, and then we got one more co-founder.
yeah. Well, maybe we won't speak on it a whole lot, and then we'll have him come on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Have him on your show.
Three-way three-way podcast there.
Yeah, we could do that. Or we could just have him. He's got lot to talk about, a lot going on, a lot of stuff he's doing
Yeah,
as
definitely.
well. So, so yeah,
So yeah, we want to talk about I mentioned beforehand that we kind of bonded when we first met over the Republican Civil War and
yeah,
that kind of stuff. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
yeah. It's always interesting trying to feel people out on this issue. If you're a Republican that's politically active, you know about the kind of the civil war that's kind of going on within the party. And it's not anything new. The Democrats have it too with young progressives and like your Al Greens and then your Hakeem Jeffries are not the same people. So, uh, so yeah, I mean it's kind of it's nothing you know, original to politics. This stuff has been happening for, the for forever. Um, so basically, um, I feel like it's all really crazy to me. It's really about a specific issue, and I know I watched your first podcast um, about this issue, but really, I believe it really just boils down to the support for Israel. That's really what the whole thing is about. And it does feel like the side that's that is supporting Israel, which is which is okay, that you can totally do that. That's your opinion to have. It does feel like there's a little bit of cancel culture on that side of the Republican Party that says, you know, name call, lots of name calling, and they try to call you names that discredit you just because you don't support a foreign country. It's like, are we really having this conversation about a foreign country? Like,
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what the Democrats do a little bit with that.
for sure.
They name call us, and I think yeah, it's definitely going to shape the Republican Party for like the near future. But I think more oftentimes than not, we can come together and we have more in common with each other than we don't. So I think it's not like something that's going to absolutely destroy the Republican Party, I don't think. It's definitely an issue that's going to come up, especially with what's happening in Iran. A lot of people, some people support it, some people don't. And yeah, it's just, I don't know if you have any further thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I a little bit, I guess. I mean, it's yeah, like I said, it really boils down to the support for Israel. We believe, I'm on the side of saying, hey, I don't think we should be supporting this country. I mean, they should be they have a special treatment, um, you know, necess- necessarily. So, I'm not saying I'm anti-Israel. I'm saying, why don't we treat them the same as any other country or any other ally? We call them the greatest ally. People always say the greatest ally in the region. They always say region. They're treated like our greatest ally of all time.
Yeah.
But they mentioned greatest ally in the region, so that would imply that they're not our greatest ally. We don't treat anybody else the way we treat them. We give them everything they want. They take whatever they want from us. Um, it's crazy. I mean, even I know you talked about this a little bit on your show, when you discussed the conflict in Iran right now, the war, and it's is why did we attack? I don't understand why we attacked them, because they originally said, because Israel was going to attack them first, and they were going to attack us in response, and not Israel, or they were going to attack us, so we should join them and attack the. Israel's a country that has. They're a small country, don't get me wrong, but they they have taxpayer funded healthcare. They have taxpayer funded university, college.
Yeah, most of
They
it
have,
supplied.
yeah, they have. Go ahead.
Most of it we supplied
Yeah,
without.
why are we giving them money? They have the money themselves, that if they can afford. We can't afford that stuff. We pay for college. Okay, we pay for healthcare. Okay, we have taxes and inflation, and every day our dollar's being devalued. Why are we paying for their stuff? They can pay for it. They clearly they're doing better than us.
Yeah.
It's just at a smaller scale. I mean, seriously. So I don't get it. Why are we? We should not be involved. We should treat them the same as any other ally that we have. They have this special treatment, and I get it. It's because they're under attack all the time, I guess, or really it seems like they're the ones attacking first, um, as of lately. But um, we're just spending too much money devaluing our currency, um, and I'm not entirely sure how we'll ever get out of it. And it's not a very America first ideal to send that money overseas.
Yeah, I think we should like we give them a lot, and I feel like if we're going to continue our relationship with them, they should give us something back because I don't
Yeah.
see anything where they give us anything that's beneficial to the United States.
Yeah, they say, you know what they say, oh, Mossad's the greatest intelligence agency in the world. They share their intelligence with us. Do they share all of it with us?
No.
Maybe, maybe not. What intelligence didn't they share intelligence with us saying that Iraq had WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, and we
Yeah,
went
I
to
think
war,
the prime minister wanted us
and
to.
that was false? That was false intelligence they gave us?
Yeah, because they didn't want. They were Saddam Hussein was not a friend to Israel because of the whole Palestine conflict. So they kind of convinced us that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, but actually I talked about this in my first episode. They actually lobbied Bush first for Iran, but Bush was more concerned with Iraq because I don't know. I guess he didn't like
Because they lied about the intelligence?
something like that. And then uh, the Prime Minister Bibi, he was like, "Okay, you can attack Iraq, but I want you to get Iran next." So evidently, we are in that next phase right now.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's all ridiculous. We should not be supporting them at all. We we pretty much pay off, you know, Jordan and Egypt. We're paying them off. I mean, it's a nightmare of a situation. So it's not, you can't even sit there and really realistically look at the money that's going directly to Israel. There's so much other money that is spent for them, that's going to Egypt or Jordan. Um, we should be treating them the same as everyone else. We, I mean, we literally hold them up for everything. I mean, we're giving them everything. It's ridiculous. It's not America first. There's people, they're homeless people here. Okay, and some could say, yeah, homelessness is a choice, and sometimes it is, but send in the National Guard, pick everybody up, force them to get treatment, or stick them in an insane asylum, refund the insane asylums. Here's what we should do: we should divest all the money that is sent to Israel and fund insane asylums.
Yeah,
Would anyone be upset with that?
that's kind of like Fishback. Wasn't he saying that he was going to divest Israel, the money that we give Israel from Florida to, was it for first time home buyers, a credit or something?
Yeah, yeah, it was for first time homebuyers, and it was a Florida residence, and and he mentioned, the one thing that I would like to get cleared up, and I'm going to ask him if he doesn't address it before, but that money actually that they send to Israel, that is in the form of a loan, and I believe that is an investment for the pensions, the pension fund in Florida. So, that's kind of something that Congressman Byron Donalds has attacked him on, for saying, because everyone's all for taking money away from, you know, we're giving money to foreign governments. Everybody's for taking that away and keeping it for the actual people, right? But this is in a form of a loan, and it has an investment um, for pension funds. Couple things to go on that. One, is this the greatest? I believe the rate that they are charged is not even a market rate. It's lower than market rate. Um, which again, why do we treat them different than anyone else? Not sure. Two, is it really a great investment for a country that is always in war? They're always having conflicts with their surrounding neighbors. Is that really a smart investment for for the pension fund? Is to loan money to a country that is in war right now? Are we sure that we could, if it went wrong for them, could we get that money back? Are we going to ever get paid back if something happened? So not sure if that's the greatest investment.
Yeah,
Maybe
very
we
smart.
should find other ways to help out the pension fund.
For sure. I think a book that really opened me up to this concept was The Israel Lobby by John Mearsheimer. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but they talk about all the different issues in the Middle East and how the Israel lobby has kind of convinced us that our interests are the same as Israel every time, when that's not really the case. And yeah, I think if anyone's interested in that topic, you should read that book.
Yeah, you have to. Do
Whatever.
you have the copy? You have to give me the copy.
Yeah, I got one. I don't have the copy, but I read it from my local library. So I
Yeah.
just like free books, so I go to my library. So yeah, that's a good book about, learning about that relationship and how our interests are not usually, sometimes they're the same as Israel's, but sometimes they're not. And I think that's the issue. We need to help them out when it's actually in our interest to help them out. We're not saying that we shouldn't be friends with Israel at all. We're just saying that we give them too much support and it's unconditional. We don't ask them anything in return.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So yeah, it's I think the relationship definitely needs to be checked. Um, and if it's not checked soon, and if the powers aren't balanced out, meaning if the structure of this relationship, right, which it's totally one sided, like you mentioned, unconditional. Um, it's if it doesn't get checked here soon. I mean, you're already seeing the outrage that people have, including from us, rightfully so. But if that doesn't get figured out and balanced out with the way we work with them, if we don't start getting stuff back, it's gonna become a relationship that is no longer existent in the future. I guarantee you, because people like us will one day get to office, or people are the support for Israel and amongst the Gen Z or younger age group is extremely low, because we're struggling. We can see, the average age of a first time home buyer is 40. I don't know about you, but I'm 22 years old, so that's going to be a very long time for me to buy my home. And what will it be by the time I am 40? Is the average age going to go up? And we're just seeing all this money that we're sending to this country, and we're getting nothing in return. That's why the support is so low amongst young people. And once we get to, I mean, we will never forget it. And once we get our chance at power, that relationship would probably be non-existent. And so if the powers aren't balanced soon, this it's a very big risk of not having a relationship at all in the future.
For sure. I think we definitely need to take care of our own interests first and help young people get on their feet because, this economy for our generation is pretty abysmal and like things like you mentioned, buying a home or getting high paying jobs. People get out of college with a bachelor's degree, they apply for 2,000 jobs and they don't hear back. So there's something that needs to change. And yeah, we need to work hard to supply our generation with a good future.
Yeah, I would say, if you ask a lot of post grad, job searchers, they're telling you that it's a terrible job market. H-1Bs, this is another one of our main issues is the H-1B scam. As people that actually want to put the people first, um, H-1B visas is terrible for the American worker. 80% of those are entry-level jobs. That's widely reported on. There's no reason that an American can't do that entry level job because their excuse every single time is, oh, the talent level, the talent level, the talent level. It's entry level jobs. I mean, how much talent do you really need, right? And we all know the truth. It's because they want to underpay these people. They want to keep more for themselves. This is company. This is profits over people. Um, it's ridiculous. It's companies, their first priority is to raise shareholder value. It is not to support their employees or help them out in any way. So it's really sad that that's a real thing, but we understand it. um, I think they mentioned what dollars a year is maybe equal to like $40,000 a year back in the day. I mean, everybody knows, back in, 1950s, this is what Trump talked about, how great it was back then. One person working a manufacturing job could own a two-story, 3-bed, two-bath house, or, 4-bed, two-bath house, two-story, and the wife could stay home and help raise the kids. While the man did 40 hours of work at a entry level manufacturing job, and it was great. Um, Life wasn't about work; it was about raising a family, and being in faith with your family and religion and stuff. So it's just everybody knows it's the average couple now obviously is working 80 hours a week. Back then it was just one person working 40 hours a week. Now you have a mother and a father both working 40 hours a week, and it's still not enough. Clearly it's not enough. The average age of a first time homebuyer is way up. Um, the amount of 30-year-olds that are married and own a home is like 15%, maybe. It's it's ridiculous. Lots of changes need to come.
Definitely, and I think all these other generations, Generation X, and especially baby boomers, are just out of touch with the reality of our generation. Because you often hear from them, they're like, "You're just not working hard enough.
Yeah.
Save more money. Stop buying Starbucks." It's like,
Yeah, when people say that, I like to look at the statistic. And I forget the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it was like what percentage, or you know, yeah, the percentage of income compared to the median income compared to the median um, uh, home price, right? And it's like it's terrible. And then you look at the chart, you can say, I mean, this is all stuff you can just use AI for, and it'll show you like a graph of like it just going straight down. It's like a couple years wages. Like what's the average home price? It's like 300, 400,000 or something like that. Um, that's going to be, the average income is what, like 40,000.
yeah, it's
So
only
it's like,
going
it's
up.
just, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's like 10 times your um, annual income. So it's like, it's just not even, it's a stupid point they make. We work more. We have two people working, and they say, oh, work harder, save more money. We have two 40-hour a week incomes. You had one. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And it's like,
And it's like
so
it's only gonna if things don't get better, it's only gonna get worse. That medium house price is gonna be in the 700s, and
yeah,
then
we're not doing anything to change this, by the way. So it's by the time we get, 5 years down the line, it's going to be even worse. I mean, we're making zero changes to that issue. And what's crazy is how long has every politician ever run on affordability? Every single politician has run on, um, affordability. Lower your costs, lower taxes. How long has every politician ever run on that? I mean, since you can remember, right? And it's like and it's only gotten worse. So it's like it's almost like if someone's running on affordability, you almost can't even vote for him because that's just going to make it worse.
that's the kind
Yes.
of stuff where on the campaign trail they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this all affordable," and then when they get into office, they don't do anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they can't. Congress. I would say Congress they need to take everybody out of Congress, and all the staffers, chief of staffs, all the staffers, even the interns. Get everybody out of Congress who's in there currently and reelect everyone else. And it can't be a staffer and it can't be your congressman. It has to be completely new people. Then you might actually start to see stuff work. You know, you got to take everybody that has experience in there out of the opportunity to run and fill it with completely new people. Uh, it would be you'd be surprised. I believe it would actually start working the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, an issue that I don't know about you, but I think this should be universal from Democrats and Republicans. Like, why are these Congress people staying in there for 50 years? Like, term limits are, everybody would want term limits. It's not like it's going to be a issue that we're debating about.
Yeah, I mean it's just because they're in there to protect themselves. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, if you think about it, it's a machine. You know, it's one big. You know what they say? It's one big club, and you're not in it. Um, that's really truthfully um, how it is. I mean, they're all there to protect themselves. You know, they Nancy Mace just tried to do a release of um, congressional um, sexual assault
Yeah.
on staffers, or I believe it was just specifically for staffers. And there's a fund that they actually use to pay off their staffers and interns that they sexually assault. Um, and that fund is our tax dollars, right? We pay for that. So we are paying for United States representatives who are supposed to be representing your hometown in Washington, D.C. at the federal level. We're paying for them to um, pay off congressional staffers that they sexually assault. And they wouldn't release, and they did a vote to release it. I think there was like maybe 35 people voted to release it or something. 65, I think. I think it was like 65. So 65 out of, what, 435. So I mean,
That's
it's
crazy.
just they're
It's
just there to protect themselves.
the corruption runs rampant there.
Yeah, I actually went to DC the last weekend, and it's you could just smell the filth. I went to the Capitol building. I walked past Speaker Mike Johnson's office, his speaker office, and he still has a congressional office too, and the congressional office buildings, and I think it was the Cannon building.
Did you see
Um,
him?
I didn't see him, but I walked past his speaker office, and um, I was just like, you can't trust any of these people.
Yeah, it's hard because, yeah, you don't know exactly who you're voting for because I think they definitely show a different side of them on the campaign trail. And then, like, it's almost like they promise things that they can't deliver on just because they want to get your vote.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like there's very few people at the end of the day that actually, you know, run to run for Congress that actually um, are doing it to, like, actually help the people in their district. Very few. And I believe Christian Maxwell is one of those people that actually cares. But mostly everybody else is doing it purely out of self-interest. Um, the status that goes with it, the the money. Um, Not that the annual salary is going to make you rich, but everybody in Congress is rich. So
You get the insider trading. You
yeah,
remember the still
insider trading. There's probably some very nice investment opportunities for you there, and I'm sure they get some good stuff with some lobbyists. I'm sure. It's not just steak dinners. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't know what
Um,
the status is, but they had that one bill, the Nancy Pelosi Act or something, that was supposed to ban insider trading. I don't think
yeah,
it's gonna get passed.
no, I don't. I doubt it. It's really embarrassing. I mean, we're supposed to be the greatest country in the world right now, greatest empire to ever exist, and you know, we're the people. are just it's awful. The government is not working for the people. We're the greatest empire of all time, and we're at a point in our country where in the timeline of our country where young people can't even buy a house. Um,
And then we
reproduction is super low. We can't even replace ourselves. One, we can't buy a house, which is probably part of the reason why. You can't afford a wedding. So, you can't afford to get married. You can't afford to have kids. Um, I mean, there's really we need some serious changes, or I mean, who knows what'll happen,
yeah,
right?
what's the point then if we can't get married and have a family? And then we can't even pass a save act where we know who's voting in our elections either.
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny. You know, seeing Senate Leader John Thune, I mean, just a nightmare of a Senate leader. All the Republican leadership is terrible from top to bottom. I mean, even the president's he's not even succeeding on his campaign promises. And the Senate leader's doing terrible. Speaker Mike Johnson, super unpopular. I mean, Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna had to do a discharge petition to get the Epstein files out. They had to do a discharge petition. This was a campaign promise. Okay, they promised this to us. They lied about the release. They sent in all the social media influencers. That was all stuff that was already released, is what we know. And so that turned out to be nothing. Congressman Massey and Ro Khanna, they had to literally force a vote on this. And they barely, it took a month to get the signatures for it because they're threatening to, the Republican leadership is threatening to primary all the people that sign the petitions. Now, clearly they know that was a mistake. I mean, obviously the Democrats no love lost for Marjorie Taylor Greene being gone and out of Congress, but a lot of Republicans are like, "Whoa, this is crazy! All she did was sign a discharge petition to get to do what you promised on your campaign, and now she's a traitor. Now
Yep.
she's a traitor. She was one of the biggest supporters of President Trump, one of the biggest ones. She was, you know, semi-popular. I mean, she wasn't, she was no Trump, but she was kind of big in the space, and he just chewed her up and spit her out for signing a discharge petition. Pretty ridiculous. So
Yeah, I think Trump has everything that he does in Congress is about loyalty to him. So if you disagree with him on one small point, he's going to call you out. And if it's a couple like Marjorie Taylor Greene had, then you're going to be called Marjorie Trader Greene.
yeah, Marjorie Trader Brown. He started calling her
Oh, Brown.
Brown, not even Green. I mean, seriously, like what's going on? I mean, and there's so many people that are just like falling in line for this. It's like, guys, are you ridiculous? He just essentially got on this congresswoman so hard about trying to follow through with something he promised on the campaign, um, that she literally quit. I mean, we all want to act like, if we were in Congress, we wouldn't care. A dream it would be to be in Congress and actually try and make a difference. Um, that stuff's real. That stuff gets to you. I mean, we posted on social media about the STARSPAC social club, and I'm getting like insults and stuff, and I'm like, these people don't even know me. So I can only imagine how she feels,
Definitely.
when the president of the United States sends everybody after you. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, it's just ridiculous. And then they're going after Congressman Massey so hard. Um, he was just down. President Trump was just in Kentucky, with the other candidate they're trying to primary against, Congressman Massey, and he did a little campaign thing for him, and it's going to be a bad look. I really believe Congressman Massey will win his primary, and obviously win the election, and that just looks really bad. It looks really bad. it already looks really bad that you're trying to primary a guy that released Epstein, that actually got the files released. Um, that's already bad enough. It's going to be another bad thing when you try to primary him and fail miserably.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if what the poll numbers is for Massey, but I know that Trump is going to spend a lot of money on it, so that's what kind of worries me because Trump still has a lot of interest, a lot of influence with he has his own pack, of course. Yeah, that a little worries me about Massey being kicked out, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see on that issue. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we only got a few good ones here for us on the Republican Party. Anna Luna, which she's kind of she's not great on every single issue, but I do really like her. I think she's willing to go against party lines, which really means against the party leadership, um, which is terrible. So good for her, right? So we got Congresswoman Luna,
Much better than Randy
Mace,
Fine.
but we're losing Mace. I mean, Mace, she's got her own issues as well. She's trying in Congress too. She's actually like Luna, willing to go against the lines, and but she's running for governor, so we not going to have much her for much longer. Tim Burchett, who's pretty good. Lauren Boebert. So it's
Wait, you said Luna's running for governor?
no Nancy Mace,
Oh, okay. Which state is she from again?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, okay. You know what she's running for governor, is it this year, the election, or next?
I'm not. Yeah, it'll be 20. It'll be 20. Yeah, that'll be this year.
Hmm, interesting. I don't know
Midterm
what the
election.
chances are, but
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't seen a whole lot about, not a whole lot of polls or anything, or I don't even know who else is running. I know there is one guy I just followed on Twitter running against Lindsey Graham, primarying Lindsey Graham.
I did see that. He's like commenting, he's quote tweeting Randy Fine, not Randy Fine, I mean Lindsey Graham.
We
Uh,
need to primary Randy Fine too.
Randy Fine is another bad one too.
I mean, who goes to a foreign nation and writes on a bomb, regards from Randy Fine, and then drops the bomb on a, you know, there's been a lot of.
And then there was that
I
horrible
mean, that's a whole other
incident where
discussion.
he posted that photo of I think it was like a child in Gaza, and he's like said something crazy
Oh
like
yeah, he told the kid to starve or something like that. Yeah, I mean,
like what kind of
let's.
person is that?
I don't know. That's pretty ridiculous. That's a. What was the punishment? I mean,
Nothing.
for telling a kid to starve. Is he gonna get primaried? Like the party should try to, at least. You know what I mean? Say, hey, we don't stand for that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I don't think that's gonna happen to be honest.
yeah, I know the leadership sucks.
Exactly. Uh, well, I thank you for joining, Carson. I think
Yeah, yeah,
this was definitely very productive, and we talked about a lot of good things from the PAC to Congress corruption and how we need to make a lot of changes in our government. So thanks for coming on.
yeah. Thanks for. I'd be happy to come on anytime.